How I healed my healing. Hi, I'm Nick, medical doctor turned soul doctor, and I just realized I want to create this video as a more meta video of what I'm about to do. One of my most popular videos is how I healed my lifelong asthma, and I wanted to speak to that whole idea and recognize that the idea of healing in this way is an access point, as if there's some kind of dis-ease, and then it can be healed, and it's binary. And that there is a way of both either internally or externally healing it, whether I say, I did it all myself, or I need an external source to heal. Those are also binary. And how do we play the game without being the game? So one is this whole idea for a while for Western medicine that you've got to get the right drug, the right treatment, the right diagnosis, the right test in order to figure out what things are, categorize it, and then heal it. And how many things are lifelong conditions, so to speak, such as asthma. It's supposed to be a lifelong condition according to the definition that I was given, and all I can do is manage symptoms. And I've been breathing better than I ever have for the past 7 years, doing more, being a breath instructor, being able to hold my breath for minutes, probably having functional breath more than I can imagine. And at the same time, after the first few years of not getting sick at all, in the traditional sense, not having any coughs, fevers, things like that, thinking I beat it all, then getting sick, then wondering, have I gone down the right path? And now reclaiming whenever I'm ill. Whenever I have that dis-ease or I'm coughing up green, yellowish stuff, my lungs are burning or I've got a fever, I'm looking at it differently now. Not that it's right, but I want to share with you. When I have that, I feel like I'm clearing out stuff that's been accumulating. What if disease is just an accumulation of imbalances? And finally your body's like, I gotta take a break, I gotta stop. You're not listening to what's happening in the background that has been going on. And so now we're gonna take some time to really clear it out. Or even then taking it away from not a punishment kind of thing, because that's even a punishment kind of thing, going every now and then your body's like, hey, let's create the next level of awareness. Let's create the next level of health, of wellness. And so I look at these periods of dis-ease, acute disease, not as a negative anymore, but rather I'm like, embrace it. Let's drive ourselves into fever. Let's get under the covers and get as hot as we can, as hot as we can get comfortable with. Cancel everything that we can so that I can actually be with the illness, unless there's something so critical that I've committed to, such as someone coming to me for a week-long ceremony, flying home, things like that. There's certain things I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do what I can and then take the therapies that I need so that I can actually get through this part of it, and then come back to actually being with the dis-ease. And how do I use these as access points? So I can record videos with titles such as How I Healed My Lifelong Asthma without feeling like a hypocrite, because that's drawn in a lot of people to open an access point. But if I think that access point is the answer, that's when I lose myself, because so many people start off with a great intention. I'm gonna try eating all these things and connect with my audience, and then later feeling captured by the audience going, I have to keep doing this because this is all they expect, and if I don't do it and I disappoint anyone, then that's actually wrong. And so part of it is learning to disappoint myself over and over again, because there's a part like that feels that shame and that blame, that pattern of that. And sometimes I feel like, oh my God, I'm getting knocked down, and being in victim mode, because there is a strong pattern of victim mode. I can both be the creator and the visionary, but sometimes when I get scared myself, instead of actually taking a break, I create myself a victim scenario so that I can take a break, so I can blame someone else for not actually moving more. Instead of saying, let's just take a pause. And so in this healing process, also realizing it's not binary, it's not healed or not healed. It's just stages. I want to not show up as if I'm healed, although that's part of it. I want to keep being able to live more and more fully. When someone asked me the other day, it's like, has the sunlight, water, magnetism, decreasing the non-native EMF actually helped you? I spent a long time talking about some of the benefits, but I realized halfway through I was trying to convince them, rather than just say, I feel better than I ever have. And yet I'm not just trying to feel better than I ever have, because it's not a comparison. It's recognizing every day there can be more aliveness. And right now I'm still working from this dimension of aliveness. What if we can actually look at the other octaves, the other frequencies, the other vibrations? But that's beyond right now. Let's even stick with this vibration frequency and be more alive and let go of the interim measures. I was asked yesterday by someone I love, it's like, do you really want to build your own citadel, your own castle as well? Because there's some friends with some really big castles. I said, not yet. That's not my primary goal in this life right now. because I can see the trap of that. It both traps me in time and space and also traps me into thinking that's more important than what's going on right now. If I can wake up every day feeling alive, having this time moments, if I can actually create some purpose where I'm actually making some real impact while at the time really enjoying that impact too, really important to enjoy it. And then actually enjoying my family, loving them, growing with them, being with the changes, then everything else is superfluous, is secondary. And it's not the longer term thinking isn't important or that the outward appearance isn't important. It's just secondary to me, to the lived experience of life. And some days I have these crazy adventures, right? Like life changing, like feels like I'm going cosmic. And some days it just feels very normal and mundane, and it's okay to have both. It's okay when I get really frustrated and then realize as well, can I be with this in this moment and realize the perfection of life? And so I'm going to come back to this dichotomy of healed and healing, and why I'm creating this video horizontally is to remind myself this is one of my own meta videos and being able to see myself. And I'm going to come back to this because part of it is both drawing people in, because there's a part that wants to draw people in. And the more that I draw in, the more I have to, not have to, the more it can assist me in refining the message, because I don't just want to keep putting out a message that creates more viewers. It's creating more viewers, then being able to see where is the clarity here? Where is it that I'm actually losing sight of myself? Where is it that I'm losing touch with what I can actually do to serve, rather than serving just enough to bring people in to get the result that would be good in the 3D world. Someone close to me asked me that is there still a goal to fly private? I'm like, totally. I can't wait to fly. Probably the first thing is semi-private, where we don't have to go through all the regular checks, because that's a piece where I want to be able to bring my cat. I want to be able to hit the airport without as much of the EMF. I want to actually have an easier process rather than lengthier and lengthier and lengthier processes for the illusion of security and safety. And that is secondary to just living in the current reality we're currently in. If that was my primary goal, I'd be willing to sacrifice certain things, and I'm not. I'm not willing to sacrifice being able to go out to whatever restaurant whenever we want to. I'm not willing to sacrifice the time that I get to spend with the family, the time that I get to spend dreaming, the time I get to spend doing these enemas right now. And so it's noticing which are secondary goals. And as well, the time I get to spend with family, both my own biological family, my beloved's biological family, and then the chosen family we really care about. I'd rather spend a week camping with them than to be able to fly something private right now. And part of it is actually spending the money so that we can actually do that kind of camping in the way that really feels good. And then for myself, noticing what's the first thing? Probably getting a little bit of a functional trailer, so to speak, which will both be able to help us move things, but as well be able to carry all the stuff that we'd want. And I'm still playing and noodling around with these ideas. And the clarity will actually come when I can let go of certain things and I can't even tell what's there. So again, the healing process, how I healed my lifelong asthma. What I realize now, stepping out and beyond, is having had the possibility of that, having had the intention of that, having had such a visible part of that, having such unlearning, having such guidance. And that's part of it is I'm guiding people into guidance. And the better I can do that without having me having to be the guidance, the better it's going to be. So all of these meta ideas in this video, which I don't anticipate many people will watch, but the ones that do, that need to hear it, will hear it. And they'll be able to see themselves in their own process better, because there's so many of us out there who want to work as healers, who get lost in the process of either certification, of learning, of ego. And it's okay to get lost at times and rediscover ourselves. And the sooner we can do that without the blame and shame and guilt, the sooner we can do that without judging the others and just focusing on our own process, the more we can elevate this decentralized healing modalities. All right, Soul Dr. Nick, ciao for now.